Hi, for everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Sarah Valerie. Pleased to be here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. I've been, we can start with that's funny. We can go to the first slide. So, most of my work for the past 3 years or so has been in some type of response to sound or some exploration of sound, whether it's been seeking some type of like physical musical notation, trying to understand what it means to be a body that won't take form, or a body that is more of a process than a shape. Some of these are meant to be a sonic experience. Some of them are more of a narrative actually, and this drawing here is tempo and silence. It's all of these will be graphite. It's graphite on paper, 50 inches by 38 inches from 2025. And the forms here are shaped they're representing heartbeats, the resting heart rates of different marine mammals that are swimming together. The larger heart rates are slower, the smaller ones are faster. You know, they tend to come and go as they do. But this was a way for me to think of our relationships together within time. And it also fascinates me when you think of, if right now we were in a room and we were all cats and dogs, we would probably be able to sense each other's heartbeats. We would be able to know who was nervous and who was calm, who was old and who was young, just by hearing this music all together. So this is kind of a silent, still moment of that experience. Oh, you can write. This is the percussive forest, and it's 200 inches across by 100. It is also graphite on paper, and it's meant to actually be a song that could be played by a musician either from the centers out or from left to right or from each tree going upward. So someday I hope to find enough musicians that will come together and all play it at once, but so far it's silent. But this is also another example of a musical notation. This song Makes the Ocean. It's 40 by 40 inches, graphite on paper, 2025. And it's, again, this is an environment that is made completely of sound. And I've been thinking of sound a lot as something that's both completely amorphous, but it is something that completely connects us. When I began doing these drawings, I was in the valley in Italy, way up in the Alps, and it was like a little dish of sound. And you would be able to sit in a window and hear every cow, every cowbell, every donkey in the woods. You wouldn't be able to see the highway, but you could hear where it would be if a car went past. If people were speaking French or English or Italian in the street, you would know who was walking where and why and where they were going. We were all completely connected by sound until occasionally an airplane would fly over, and then we would be isolated again. And that made me think a lot about how in New York, sound is more of a barrier. It creates privacy, it creates isolation, whereas its natural state is to connect all of us. This is a long shout through history. It's also 50 by 38 inches, 2025. Again, with the relationship to time, every element of the earth, whether it is rock or air or water, will move according to the same laws of physics, just at different rates of time. It may be the molecular storm, it may be grains of wood in a tree growing and forming, it could be water in a river, but in a still moment, they're all the same. When they're moving, they're completely unrecognizable and different from each other, but they do have moments in common. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot as I draw these forms or non-forms is the idea that the Western concepts of living and non-living are very odd and confining and binary, and this has been understood by many, many cultures throughout history that these are living things one way or another. Just that we tend to think of living as a form that is aware of its ending, a form that feels that it will not be living once it is not a form. We think of living things as forms that are hungry, that skin their knees, that get broken. And when we think about water or air, I find sometimes it's hard for people to have empathy for these types of bodies because they don't worry about them. They don't think about them feeling pain, and maybe they don't. I don't care to anthropomorphize them at all. But, and I'm sure a lot of people know this already, there are actions, there is the idea to legalize the rights of air, water, and soil, and forests so that they will be protected. But when you read about this, what I find really beautiful is it's not that they're just saying like, well, we need to protect them so they're clean, so that we have clean water to drink. Some of the rights that they're trying to legally provide to the rivers are things like the right to flow, the right to be part of an ecology, the right to evolve, sort of like the right to purpose. These are all things that we should all have as rights in common with the rivers. And so Ecuador, Bolivia, Bangladesh, Spain have all legalized rights for rivers. Sometimes it's in contest, the push and pull of who gets to really decide, and Toledo, Ohio. It's been protecting Lake Superior. So.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, oh, thank you. Oh, we gotta go. Next one, please. These are my little birds. I'm very, very attached to them. They started appearing in a painting, and they did not belong in this painting, and I kept telling them, please, you don't belong in this painting, but they insisted on being. So I've made dozens and dozens and dozens of these, and I just enjoy the fact that one of them may look very simple, but together they are clearly individuals, and this is heavy in your hands. It's as big as whatever wall it's on. This is, I vaguely remember walking on 2 legs. This is from 2025 as well, and 50 by 38 inches. And it's just considerations on what it is like for humans to maybe lose form. These are, since I was working with sound, I wanted to make some. I've got a long series of these little bells. This one makes that sound because it has quartz inside. I made tons and tons of these bells. I had nowhere to fire them. So I eventually went out to Prospect Park and threw them in the barbecue pits and set it on fire. And this is me late in the night watching them cool. They're still pretty hot when you carry them home. I'm getting ready to do another firing in the next couple weeks, so you might see me out there, the blaze. The next 2 slides are other instruments that I've created. There's a waterphone and there's a set of ungovernable harps that are made out of branches. So I'm just gonna introduce those now. They will not necessarily be pleasant sounds, just warning you. So here's. There are banjo and guitar strings through all the V's of the branches, and that's how it's played. And we have a little copper disc as a contact mic at the bottom. This is super adagio. This is a very long view of history, patterns of song that move further into space. And I know I'm at the very end, so we can.
Thank you so much.